All right, everybody. Welcome to another amazing segment of Both Sides of the Conversation, Hidden Gem segment, where we highlight amazing people doing amazing work in our community. We want to highlight them. We want to give them their roses while they still here. Also, we highlight amazing businesses that are in our community that's doing amazing stuff. And we say bye black here at Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm co-founder Rico Hamilton.
And I'm co-founder John Henry.
Hey, John, before we get started, I got one thing I did want to say. We do highlight a lot of hidden gems, but I do want to highlight you, let you know I love you.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. No, seriously, because I was going through a whole lot. I lost my best friend and just been going through a whole lot of stuff, and you've been there, you've been having my back, you've been supporting me, you've been keeping the train going, you've been moving. And I want to thank you. I love you for that. You know what I mean? With all my heart, continue to do all the stuff that you do. You like a jackrabbit around here. I'm like, slow down, man, but you keep it going. You know what I mean? I want to let you know I love you before we get into anybody else. Thanks, man.
Oh no, no problem, man. And our continued prayers for you and your family. And I know the loss that we lost in our community, a community giant. And we definitely got to curb this violence. We losing too many of our black males. We losing too many of our leaders of the community. And we definitely got to curb that, man. So thank you. I'm glad you back. I'm glad the spirits, the prayers, everything is touching you, and you back here tonight. I think this is a important part of what we do, and support each other, lift each other up, and it's about unity. Before we get started, we got Chef Mimi coming up first, but just want to go over a couple housekeeping rules for here at Both Sides of the Conversation on our live webinars and in our groups. We've been receiving a lot of feedback. One thing about us here at this group is we're trying to interact with the people, make sure that we continue to stand by our community standards, continue to stand by the things that we're trying to promote, unity. We do promote debates, healthy conversations, and we want to keep that this way. We had to remove several people out of the group today, and also we sent out a number of messages to people. Ladies and gentlemen, I know the memes, the topics, the different conversations that's happening in our group sometimes could be triggers for some people. People could get really emotionally driven by some of the conversations, but we need all the ladies and men in the group to please respect each other, right? You don't have to agree with a person's perspective. You don't have to agree on what they believe is right or wrong. We just trying to have a healthy conversation. We're just trying to unify our community and have some of these difficult conversations that's not happening in our community. And we trying to also educate, learn, and heal at the same time. So please respect the group. People are posting different things. Please respect people's religious background, the different beliefs. You don't have to agree with it, either not respond or just please don't personalize. We don't want people bullying, Facebook bullying, and we don't want people going off. We're trying to keep this an open space where people can feel comfortable to talk about the things that they want to talk about, and continue to move these conversations in our community to heal. So with that being said, we love everybody. Let's just keep it professional in a way. It's cool to have these different opinions, but the group is made for us to have the conversation. We don't mind cussing and different things of that nature, but definitely when we start personalized things towards each other, let's please be aware of that and just remember our community standards of respecting the safe space and having honest conversation. And then the last thing was we received a lot of feedback from the community. Some of our members are feeling like we're promoting Black and Brown community, but there's not a lot of Black and brown, a lot of brown representation. Again, we are representing our Latino community, our Asian Pacific Islanders, our Samoan community. You guys are welcome. You guys are part of the Both Sides of the Conversation family. Again, we need you guys to represent and get involved with submitting information to us, different topics. We've reached out to a lot of our Black and brown businesses and haven't got response back. We reached out to some of our Latino community leaders, haven't got responded. And I know some of it, some people coming on the platform doing live webinars is a challenge for them due to some of the work that they do dealing with people who may not, they don't want to be highlighted to bring that type of publicity to them. So I understand that, but I don't want you guys to feel like that we're not supporting the brown community. We are definitely supporting you. So if you have any brown businesses, please reach out to us at both sides of the conversation at Gmail. If you have any one that that want to participate in our upcoming conversations, please reach out to us. This Sunday, we're going to have another amazing conversation. We're talking about the Black and brown dad experience, raising children. And if you are Latin or if you a person of color, please, if you're a male and you taking care of that responsibility and you raise a kid, please reach out to us at both sides of the conversation. We would love to have you on as a panelist. We want to have this inclusion with our Black and brown community to continue to unite and bring each other together. So with that being said, let's jump into our hidden gems tonight. Up first, Greco, go ahead and bring in Chef Mimi, and let's go ahead and highlight her as one of the hidden gems tonight.
All right. We got Chef Mimi. She's a visionary. She is transforming the narrative as the owner of a boutique catering company, the executive producer of Bring It to the Table, the first culinary television show focusing on Black chefs and their food philosophies. Okay. That sounds like some both sides of the conversation type stuff. Okay, my sister. So it's more on here, but I don't want to say it. I want you to say it, because it's about you highlighting yourself also and telling everybody all the amazing stuff that you got going on. Thank you for what you do, because that sounds healing to me. I want to jump on there. I can't cook, but I could try to cook an egg or something.
I just want to ask one question though, because I see the book "Why Black Girls Don't Eat Avocado," and is that true? Is that
you have to read that? You have to read it.
Okay, all right.
It's not.
I love avocado now. Don't
yeah, it's literally it's about systemic racism in our community. And me, I guess I'll just jump in since we're talking about both sides of the conversation. Growing up as a Black, woman in the Bay Area, I was privileged to like try all different types of foods. But when I would go to school, people would tell me that I ate like a white person because I was eating sushi or eating something healthy or eating something that wasn't necessarily something that they might have had in their own homes. And I feel like it's very dangerous when when race and health and food is tied together, and someone just looks at you and says, okay, you eat soul food, fried chicken, and collard greens. Like, yes, we love that. That's the bomb. Like, I love all of that. But I also enjoy eating all different types of foods. And it doesn't make me white or any other race because I want to try and step outside of, what is the social norm for what people would assume Black people would eat. And so we also have to remember that a lot of foods, that were given to us were not the most healthiest foods. And those were things that we had to just make do with what we had, and we made it amazing, right? But some of this stuff is, we have to take a look at it. So I used to bring this really, really horrible, like whole wheat, like cracked whole wheat avocado sandwich with like sprouts hanging out the side. And people would look at me and be like, why are you eating white people food? And I'd be like, what? Like, this is what we ate in my house. Like, this was weird to me. That I felt like I always had to like defend myself, defend what I'm eating. And so it made me feel self-conscious because I didn't want to, I didn't want people to think that I'm identifying with something that I'm not, but I'm just eating food. Like, so I was growing up in Oakland, Berkeley area, there's a lot of diversity there. So you get a chance to meet all different types of families and you get to eat all different types of foods. And then my dad was a Black Muslim, so we didn't even eat pork. And my mom was a Black Panther. So they were like, in our house, it was all kind of like, we throwing up all kind of, Black and proud and being Black, and then to go into school with this avocado sandwich and be like, no, you're not Black. That was like weird to me. So that's what I wrote about. I wrote about my experience and how, and just, pushing back, I won't even tell my age, but decades from then, we're still faced with some of the same stereotypes. And so um, it kind of goes into what I've been doing across the platform of connecting food and racism and health and social justice together. It starts with us. We live in food swamps. Food swamp is a place where there's an abundance of really bad food. And I know a lot of people have heard of food deserts, and that's like not enough food, but we really do have the food. It's just not the healthiest food in our communities. And so, um, I can go into that whole social justice piece, but I find that it was really important to create a platform where people could try different foods and see themselves cooking the food. So that's how bringing it to the table came about. It's sort of like Top Chef, but it's with Black chefs. And so if we get to see more Black chefs, if Black chefs are at the table, if Black chefs are talking about food in the way that it needs to be discussed, then we will have a better health outcome, because it will be more acceptable for a brown Black girl to bring an ugly avocado sandwich to school. No one's going to look at her and be like, oh, you trying to be like this. It's the same thing as when someone does anything different, then people assimilate that they're trying to be something that they're not. And it's very dangerous. So um, so bringing it to the table was a show that was shot out of Oakland. We had 7 chefs go throughout the city, and one of the challenges that we have is a liquor store challenge. So they had to go to the middle of the hood with $8 in 8 minutes, and they had to shop at this liquor store. We had a hard time in 2016 when we shot the show getting it picked up, because people were like, why does anybody want to see Black chefs? Are you guys only making soul food? It was a lot of things going on. And so what I decided to do was put it in my own hands, and I created the Oakland Black Food and Wine Experience. And so what we did was we took Black entrepreneurs in the food and wine space and created an event, music, entertainment, food, drinks, wine, cocktails, all you can eat, all you can drink in one area, and it's a turn up. And so we really literally have started with 100 people in an industrial kitchen and grown it to over 750 people selling out. And we're gearing up for 2021, really paying attention to COVID and figuring out, what's the best thing to do, whether we're going to do virtual or do an outside event. And so over the last, I graduated from culinary school in 1995. And when I was in school, I was one of 2 Black people. I didn't really understand like what my food philosophy was, because I'm going to a school that's cooking all French food. And so you can imagine there was no French food cooked in my house. So I did so when I got there, I'm like, okay, so who am I in this space? How do I need to be? And with culinary arts, you start in a place where it's all about the French cuisine. It's all about, learning how to make the European dishes. And I'm like, wait, what happened to like Africa and India and Latin America? Like what happened to all the flavor and the spices? And so being able to bring those flavors, bring the expertise of what it means to be a culinary artist, and do this big event. It's been amazing. And so I've been really really lucky to, well, not lucky, but I've been working really really hard, and we have finished the show, and we're looking to relaunch it in February. We're gearing up for the next Black Food and Wine Experience to host 1,500 people. So we are in conversations about bringing the event to different states, and so we're excited about that. And we're building some really great partnerships with like Fortune 500 companies, and just having some really good conversations about, what does it really look like to take ownership in the food and wine space. We've had conversations around, charity versus equity, and the fact that a lot of Black and brown business, Black and brown nonprofits and things like that, they get funded, which is great. But we also need to build more equity, financial equity, and we need to fund more Black and brown businesses. Um, there is $987 million left on the table just because there's not enough equity share in terms of Black businesses getting, funded to have the things that they need and not just be bootstrapped. And so that's all of this that I'm doing is tied into the culinary arts space, helping restaurants, building, business development, and also building a brand where people want to see more and more Black chefs and Black winemakers and entrepreneurs. I know I said a lot, so.
No, I think that's dope. So what is the network that is going to be on? Or is it going to be on the net or?
Yeah, it's going to be on a social media. The shows are going to be under 10 minutes, and we'll be hosting them on social media and on YouTube and things like that. And so that's the route that we're taking with that. In terms of the Black food and wine experience, we do have sponsors for to expand that event. So we are, we're growing that event, and it makes sense now because with the George Floyd murder and stuff like that, people are really, and in the pandemic, people are really paying a lot more attention to like Black restaurants and entrepreneurship. And so there's the tables are starting to turn. People are starting to notice, and they're starting to be more receptive to supporting Black owned businesses, especially within the food and wine space.
Right. So one thing that touched me is when you talked about the French cooking that you learned. How did you put that Black twist with the French twist? Because I know when you're French, when you're learning French and you got that soul in you, did you make some Luc
I had to do it. Yeah. So one of the godmothers of California cuisine, which is, using more fresh, sustainable local products, Alice Waters from Chez Panisse in Berkeley, I kind of adapted the same idea, California foods, local, fresh, and then taking things that we love. So, we love fried chicken, we love greens, we love the traditional stuff, but just making it a little bit healthier. So I do have a recipe for barbecue vegan greens. I'll do like, a peach southern fried honey chicken. I will make some of the traditional French things, but I'll infuse it. So they use a lot of butter and salt and pepper. Of course, I'll have my own spice blends. I use a lot of fresh herbs. Everything for me is more like flavor profiling and looking at the flavors and then building up on top of them.
Hey, that sound magnificent.
And then
with a little hey girl to it, right?
Right. And it's amazing because we have I would say 75% of my following customers are Black women. And they've been amazing. Black women are the second most educated in the world, and they also are the ones that are making financial decisions. So they really do love food and travel. And so there's tons of Black winemakers now, not tons, but there's more Black winemakers. And so we're supporting them. There's more spirit makers, and there's more chefs and people in the food space that are looking to not only just be a part of the event, but also business development, like knowing if you're a caterer or you want to get into, say, a tech space, you got to know the things to have. So I do I was doing lots of catering for tech companies, Facebook and Google and so on. And my business rotated within those spaces. Due to COVID, we had to pivot. So now I'm doing online virtual cooking classes for as a team building exercise, as well as wine tasting. So that's been, the pivot of my business to stay afloat, because my business was just based on, events and experiential events. So I've been doing a lot of public speaking. I've been doing a lot of virtual classes. I just partnered with Impossible Foods. And so, we're promoting the Impossible Burger in the plant-based industry. I am the first Black woman, and I'm also the chef in residence at the Battery in San Francisco. And so Battery is we've had conversations around, what it means to build more equity within the food and wine landscape. And we really just need investors. I mean, we have the platform, we have the audience, we know what we're doing. And now it's more about, building, funding, and supporting the entrepreneurs so that they can grow to the next level.
Yeah, I think that's dope. I'm into wine too, and I always try to support our Black wineries in Napa. But we also have to remember that as we're blowing up and growing up, we still got to show love to the locals. I've been up to the Brown Winery several times, and they're not so local friendly. I found that.
The Bright Sisters that are from Oakland. We've got Paula Harrell from Oakland.
So
we've got several. Huh?
I support them. I always support them, but I just feel like when it comes to us locals, they're not so supportive. But when people out of town come, they get all the love, they get the easy access. But we got to definitely make sure that we remind that local dollars is just as good as worldwide dollars.
You sound like you in your feelings about that, John.
Yeah, I was in my feelings. A couple of times I popped up, some people came out of town. I'm trying to like, hey, let's go up here. And they was like really acting kind of funny. Like, oh, I was like, hey, your local dollars running.
The industry can be snooty, and at the end of the day, you just gotta know, like, okay, where do I want to go where I'm going to be treated really, really well at the end of the day. And there's Latin winemakers as well in Napa Valley as well. So one of the things too, I mean, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So my husband and I, we share a business, and right now we are producing and making our own beard oils, and they're all organic, cold pressed.
Okay.
Yep. So we got the chocolate beer. We got all different flavors. We got the Superstar. It's like chocolate and banana. Remember back in the day that Superstar, the banana chocolate one, and they had the little red, white, and blue one. So this smelled like a Superstar on your beard though, and you'd be like, oh, feeling so icy.
Okay. I might need some of that.
Yes, it smells so good. We got the peppermint. So like if you want your beard to grow and you want to stimulate your beard or your hair, got a little peppermint, make your breath smell good all up in here when the ladies come, close to your beard.
Yeah. So definitely I want to plug you in with some people. I'll reach out to you. I have some connects at UCSF. They do a lot of catering for meetings and different things. So I'm definitely going to plug you in with some people I know there. So are you saying predominantly your business for the food stuff, the catering is kind of for catering only, or there's no walk-in spot? Are you doing any pop-ups or like some of the off-the grids or anything like that?
Yeah, right now I'm not doing any pop-ups. I would do pop-up brunches. I've more stepped like out of the kitchen as a working chef, and I'll do more like producing in terms of the events. And so I think there's a lot of continuity in being able to have the voice and be able to share what we're doing as a collective so that we have more of a bigger impact. And so right now with my partnership with Impossible Foods, you guys can go watch my commercial, go to Impossible Foods on Facebook and Instagram. You can see the commercial I just did. So we have commercials coming out, and we have other things. So right now I'm just doing more like philanthropy, more conversations, more things that I could do at home in terms of the virtual cooking classes and 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 partnering with these corporations.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to connect you with one of our sisters, Tiffany Carter over at SF Black Wall Street. She's a up and coming bad chef doing a lot of amazing things too. So I'm gonna have to connect you guys up,
Yeah, that would be great.
get this sister movement going.
Yes, we have a food. The one thing about with both of the platforms, we've met so many amazing chefs from all over the country. We've got a chance to, meet chefs from New York and Atlanta, the Bay, of course, the Bay. And there's a small niche group of us. But we're expanding and we're all trying to continue the same conversation so that there's more of us talking about it. We right now we don't really have a platform. The Food Network is not a platform that really promotes culture and Black. And people are like, "Why? How come we can't get a show on there?" But it's like they look at the demographics, white women in suburban communities. They're not trying to see certain things that we're doing, or if we do a show, it's super watered down, or we have to put soul food in front of it. And so I feel like, as a chef, you get to travel, you get to taste all different types of foods, and you don't just have one food philosophy. You don't just cook or eat one thing. Everybody gets a chance to enjoy in all the different cultures of food. And so that's what it is. And so that's these are some of the things that we're working on, and these are some of the things that we're fighting up against and continuing the conversation. So I definitely appreciate being able to be on this show and just sharing what I'm doing and just the whole wealth of what Black people are doing in the culinary space and food and wine.
Amazing. Rico, you want to say anything final before we let this sister go?
Of course,
Food Network, they don't want the fried watermelon.
Yeah.
I got one last thing to say. So with COVID-19 going on, and that there's a lot of scare around food security, especially as it relates to the Black community or communities that are underserved. What are some tips that you can kind of give folks around like preparing meals during this time, with possibly having little,
Mhm.
and then those food boxes, like what like, because I see the lines and people getting those food boxes, and I never see our people in those lines.
Mhm.
Do you recommend our people to go to them lines and get those that produce and that stuff that they're giving out?
I do. I think they're the one that's close to Emeryville, in West Oakland. There, that food line is food from Trader Joe's. So,
Mm.
um, there when we talk about tiering, we talk about groceries, we talk about access. That's like a whole conversation that would take a whole hour.
We would take a
But
Sunday chat. A
right.
Sunday chat.
But what I will say is that during COVID, during this time, you know, people are not able to gather as much and they're not able to share in, food making and stuff like that with their families. Um, you just want to make sure that, you eat healthy, buy foods from in your local community. You can go to a farmer's market, you can go to Trader Joe's and stuff like that. And I'll talk another time. I'll talk about tiering, and that's grocery tiering, and how systematically the grocery stores are racist in a lot of different ways. And so they have these systemic things that are placed within the grocery tiers. Like if you instead of saying like we won't go to a Black and brown community, they just say 95% of the community needs to be bachelor's degrees, or 95% of the community needs to be master's degrees. So if you look at it from that point and they use that system, then it's going to take out, the more vulnerable communities won't have access to the grocery stores that normally would be in our communities. But I would say, eat healthy. Um, you don't have to fry everything. You can, beans and rice are always a good way to go. We love red beans and rice. I mean, you can have things like that, staples, fresh things that I know sometimes it's hard to go to the grocery store every day or every other day. So, just do what's best for you and, take your vitamin C. The more natural that things are, the better it is for you. I want to say this to Black men. You need to eat at least 7 to 12 servings of vegetables a day. Lycopene is what you find in tomatoes and ketchup and different things like that. And it's really, really important for prostate cancer because Black men do represent an overly or large amount of prostate cancer. And you can, knock that down by eating more fruits and vegetables. And so, removing not as much fast food, putting more fruits and vegetables into your diet, more raw foods into your diet, drinking more water. Those are the things that Black men need to be thinking about for their overall health. And fruits and vegetables. And it's just being more mindful about the foods that you put in your body, and especially for Black men, because Black men, they're not eating as many fruits and vegetables as they need to. And a lot of the dialysis, Black men represent the large cases of dialysis, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and prostate cancer. And so that's just, I can talk about that, but I just wanted to say that that's what I want to leave our Black men with, and men of color. We want to make sure that you are really conscious about your health and the things that you're putting into your body, because it's important and we need you guys.
That's amazing. I'm glad you said that. And definitely, Rico, that is a Sunday conversation that we are putting together in the future about nutrition, what we need to eat. But definitely, sister, we would love to have you put together an educational Thursday presentation, a PowerPoint about the food, the vegetables that we need. I think that would be very impactful. So we'll reach out to you and maybe we can get you to put together some kind of PowerPoint to help educate our community, because that's one thing that we do here at both sides of the conversation, is also trying to educate the community with information. And I think that's very important information. And how do we close the gap? Part of our health related stuff, like you said, is tied to the food, with the cost of good food being so hard, and our people already struggling financially. How do we afford to feed a family of 4 at Whole Foods when you spend $100, $200 in there and you get 2 bags with nothing? So
I
that's
just
part of
did
the
that
conversation.
yesterday.
Yeah, so that's part of the conversation. That's my struggle
Yeah.
every day. I go on Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. I'm like, I just spent $200. What did I get? I got like 3 items.
Well, let me say this about Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is cheaper than Safeway and Ralph's. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I've done all the price points, and it is a much cheaper store. And it's also about planning. Planning your meals and just being more educated and wise, because we do have the money. I think that's one of the myths that people think we don't have the money, but we do. We just have to reallocate how we spend our money. Like people spending money on their cars and all this other stuff, but your body, you put synthetic oil in your car, but you'll put McDonald's and all kind of other stuff in your body that's all, that's not necessarily healthy. So
And I think that's tied to access. So again, in our communities, and this is the fight about communities, is we have to fight to keep these fast food restaurants out, and we have to fight to get the healthy foods in our community accessible and easy to prepare. That's how we solve that issue.
It sounds good. I think it's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more complicated than just access. I'm gonna give you a really quick reason why. People have access, but just because you have access doesn't mean you're gonna make the right decision.
That's true.
It's really about, you taking the effort and you really understanding what this impact is gonna have on your life. There are situations where people don't have access. That's true. They have to go a little bit out of their community, but you got to go out of your community to go get. If you live in East Oakland, you got to go out of your community to really go shopping and get certain things, right?
See,
Right.
that's why
they'll go buy some shoes in another community, right? You got to be able to go to another community and buy food and still talk about it and be like, hey, we want more healthier fruits and vegetables in our community. Who's gonna go after ABC and say, hey, you've got too many liquor stores in our community? That's illegal. right? We need more grocery stores. We need more access. And then when the grocery stores are there, because I've worked with grocery stores in the community, and then people have to buy the food, because sometimes if they don't understand how to prepare the food, they don't know what they're buying. Even if you put a Whole Foods and you dropped it in the middle of a certain community, they'll be like, what is this? Like, I don't know any of this products. I need to know. I can't identify with the food that's there. So if you have to have people like myself and yourself that's demonstrating, like, this is what we eat. It's a culture. It's critical mass. If 1% of the community decides to eat healthier, then it'll be easier for everybody else to catch on. But if everybody eats a certain way, then people are gonna be like, oh, this is what we do. This is what Black people eat. This is what we eat. But is it really what we eat, or is that what we've been pushed to eat, and this is what we know, right? So we gotta really step out and be more courageous to say, I'm gonna be that Black girl to eat that ugly avocado sandwich at school. I don't care.
Yeah.
What
Well,
anybody say?
it's very important for our influencers. We got rappers making McDonald burgers, and we need our rappers and our community influencers to promote this healthy food. But again, thank you for coming on. Your husband's blessed to have a woman that can make for us. See, fellas, that's why you got to have a good woman to make sure that you stay on your health, you eat right, get the right woman. Don't just get the beautiful woman, get the one that's going to make sure you live a long time. But thank you, Chef Mimi. Before we let you go, can you verbalize your social media handles? Because somebody might be watching, they want to connect with you. Can you let people know how to get a hold of you?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is thechefmimi.com, and my social media handle on Facebook is Amina Chef Mimi Robinson, and I am Chef Mimi on Instagram. And if you go to my website, you can just click on all those different portals, and it take you to my LinkedIn, my Facebook page, and my Instagram. And so I appreciate you for having me. It's been a really great conversation. It's fun. And yeah, please go to my website and pre-register for the Black Food and Wine Experience. It's free. Just sign up, and you will be first to know about the event. You'll also receive information, recipes, and different things like that. And when the tickets go on sale, people will be able to purchase them before they're released to the public.
Cool.
They do sell out. They
support
do sell
that,
out.
Rico. Rico,
Yeah.
let's register so we could go to the Black and Wise experience and experience this beautiful thing.
We definitely are. I also sent you my number, so if you can have your husband shoot me his information so I can get on that Black
The beer. Okay. And that's called chocolateH2O.com.
ChocolateH2O.com.
Okay. I like everything chocolate.
Yeah, I do too.
And definitely, Chef Mimi, any digital flyers or any information you want to promote, please submit it to us. We could put it on our platforms for you. And as well, if you have something major going on, you're more than welcome to always come back on our platform and promote it, because that's what we want to do here, is promote our Black and brown businesses. So don't be afraid. If you got something going on and you want to get it out to the community, please come on, let us know, or share the flyer information to us, and we'll make sure we put it out there for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on tonight. We know you got to go. Have a blessed one, and we'll continue to push your information to the community. Get behind you.
I appreciate you too. Take care. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Oh man, that's just a deep, man. That's
what's up.
John, we got to do a Sunday chat with her. I don't know how we can pull it off, but we definitely got to get that Sunday chat and Thursday educational around food security, and making sure that our community understand foods and the different type of foods that we should be eating, staying away from processed and all that stuff. But nevertheless, we got some other amazing women on the show, doing some amazing things. So I guess I'll just jump right in if you ain't got nothing else.
Go ahead, Reek.
All right. This person is an award-winning artist, speaker, educator, and young girl advocate who serves as a host of community facilitating transformation and healing through art. With a holistic approach to content and development, her interdisciplinary work engage audiences in dialogue and activism that extend beyond the page and stage. She recently she recently serving as a program director for Emerge, which is educating, mentoring, empowering, and reaffirming our girls for excellence. A pilot educational reentry program that serves young women ages 16 to 18 to focus on her motherhood and consulting. Jazz, my sister, has over 11 years of experience as keynote performer, educator, and consultant for corporate, educational, nonprofit, and community-based organizations. There's a whole bunch of other stuff on here that I would love for her to talk about and get more
a whole mouthful. You said you wasn't gonna read all about it.
That wasn't all of it. It's like it's like a whole 3 pages left. But yes, you know, we thank you for coming on, Jazz Hudson. All the amazing stuff that I see that you got going on. Please tell the community. If you don't have nothing, can she just jump right on in or go ahead?
I'm gonna let her jump in. She has a lot of amazing things. I think our community needs to hear about it. Our parents, our young ladies. I mean, this lady is doing some amazing things. So I'm just gonna let you go ahead and jump right into it, Jazz.
Well, thank you for having me on here tonight. It's great being on here. I've been in the workers dungeon, knocking out holiday and community orders. I'm also, it's not on the bio, but I'm a small business owner. I own a luxury shea butter company called Goddess Butter Oakland that focuses
Make sure you drop that information to me and John because we support Black business.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the information. If I can, I'll share my screen. I got like a 1-minute video.
Go ahead. This is your time. This is your time. This is all about you promote all your business.
I'm gonna drop all of that. And also try to see it's recorded. So you're gonna get me saying this. Also try to get you all a gift box for having me on the show. Too. But before I jump into me, I just want to add something. Chef Mimi is awesome, and she didn't even tip the iceberg of the things she does. She just specifically spoke to her activism as it relates to food justice. But she works for Alameda County. She works advocating for women who have had children, birthing justice, women knowing like their rights and how to have access to healthy foods for their infants. She also lost a child to gun violence and is an advocate for that. And so I just want to big up Chef Mimi because it is a great model to see. Oftentimes in the community, we see examples of like the wounded healer or folks that's just like relentlessly hitting the pavement, but also not practicing self-care. And so overall, like just watching Chef Mimi in the community and knowing a little bit about her interpersonally, like she's not only doing things for others, but she's making sure that she gives back to herself. And that's just such a beautiful model of what it looks like to be in leadership. And then the other piece to add is that also we were talking about East Oakland, the East Oakland Collective. They started an initiative in East Oakland with the liquor stores to provide fresh fruit and vegetables to that community. So they're giving a $250 gift card, Visa gift card, but you can only use it at select stores in East Oakland and also the liquor stores to be able to remedy the food desert that's there. So just to put that there. Cool. And I see Natasha, she's like, it's kind of weird to be just talking at a screen. So for me, if you want to unmute and snap and talk and laugh, you can. Because this.
No, I'm glad you said that about Chef Mimi. I know she's dope. That's why we reached out to her and connected with you through Kasha. You know, we try to make this Bay Area connection with both sides of the conversation because we keep getting hammered because
another gym.
Yeah, they keep hammering us because me, Rico, and Jada's from the San Francisco. So they just like, both sides of the conversation. This is a San Francisco thing. We like, no, this is a Bay Area thing. We represent
Oakland will hammer you for that.
We with the town business.
Richmond gonna jump in talking some stuff too.
We got the town business going on.
The Bay, we always got something to say, and that's good because we holding each other accountable. So speaking a little bit more to my bio, I'm gonna jump into my business aspect, and I'm gonna try my attempt at this social media, this tech stuff, and I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Here we go. Y'all let me know if I'm doing this right. Okay, go down, share. Who can share? Host only. Okay, I'm a host. I want to share this. Here we go.
All right, it's up. We can see it.
Can you hear it? The first time I realized like goddess butter could actually help somebody, it started at home. And like when my husband really did, like when his eczema started to clear up, I was like, whoa, I immediately get to see the difference that people feel in their skin, the difference in what they feel in their body when they smell like lemongrass and lavender, or just on an endorphin level, how it'll ground someone when they smell a frankincense and vanilla, or smell the sandalwood and rose. And it is organic as well, so I get it from an ethical source. It's been used in a village. They haven't used any chemicals or heavy machinery that uses other products. And I have to break it down. So I have to like churn it. And that's what women are doing in the continent. They have these like really, really big sticks. And so ultimately, every time I get a response about goddess butter, I'm always shocked, but I'm always honored and humbled. It's a large responsibility for someone to let you into the intimate parts of themselves and to trust you with healing a part of them, to trust you to put something on their body, to trust you to put something in their mind. And so I'm really happy that people trust me to make an impact.
Oh, that's dope. Now let me make sure I heard you right. So
the one thing I don't like about that video is they could have cut out me saying a big stick. They didn't even let me finish what I had to say. But anyway,
that's for the people behind that's in the gutter. But
man,
what I really wanted, because I make sure I heard it right, is that for eczema?
Everything. So Goddess Butter Oakland, we're creating holistic remedies for common skin ailments. So anything from eczema to severe dry skin, stretch marks, if you chafing, rashing, wrinkles, whatever discoloration, pigment discoloration. And we're a multi-use shea butter company, so it is safe enough to use for your hair, face, and body. And the therapeutic properties come from not only just the nutrients in the shea butter, the raw cold pressed cacao, but we use therapeutic grade cold pressed essential oils in our blends.
Oh, you got a customer already here. I got my Christmas gift. I got a cousin that deals with eczema really bad, light on one side, dark. I got it. I got you, cuz. I got you.
Is those products edible?
I get that a lot, and I know you can see it looks kind of edible. So this is what I say. Everything we use in our products, it can be digested internally. And I really think you shouldn't put anything on your skin that you couldn't put in your mouth, right? Because it's the largest organ on your body. And a lot of people put skin in their mouth, okay? Get your mind. See, that's that Frisco. Get your mind out the gutter. Okay.
But that's what I was thinking, that I was taught that, you don't put nothing on your body or your face that you can't put in your mouth.
And the funny thing, I first learned that rule of thumb when I was a little girl. My dad was my mother and my father were bodybuilders. Wow. And my dad also trained dogs. And so he would create meals for his dogs, and he would create his own products to put on the coat of the dog when cleaning, because a lot of the products on the market were harmful to dogs' digestive system. And so that was actually the first time I learned like anything about being conscious of like shampoo and what you put on your skin by way of how my dad treated our animals.
Oh, wow. I got a couple of bricks of that shea butter.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raw bricks.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I got them. All in the lab. Bricks of shea butter everywhere.
That's what it looked like on the commercial. Like you coming to serve hella bread.
Cream, dollar bills. We got it.
The good cream. No, that's the good cream, y'all.
The good cream. The good cream. Not the generation after crack cream. No. Yeah, and so I mean, what separates us from other self-care and beauty brands is that we are promoting health and wellness through holistic education. We're offering a high quality product. It's cruelty free. And we're also supporting grassroots organizations. So outside of my shea butter and my essential oils, my shea butter is sourced from a collective of women in Northern Ghana called Global Mamas. And they are a co-op. So every dollar that I spend goes back to the co-op of mothers who are working there to sustain themselves and also shift the narrative around consumerism healthcare, right? To start to make a carbon trail, a paper trail of consciousness, so we know where our money is going and how it affects other people. And my goal is more and more and more to limit the how many hands are on the product before it gets to you. We're in partnership with Mandela Cooperative based in West Oakland. Because I have a background in education and I work with youth, we partner with several organizations where young people who are learning entrepreneurship and want to start their own self-care and beauty brands, teaching them how to do that. I worked at Youth Uprising for several years and started a program at Castlemont, teaching youth how to make shea butter and body butters and lip balms through what is called YU Excel. The program's not functioning right now because of COVID, but just really what made me push it was working in East Oakland at Youth Uprising. I gifted a bunch of shea butter to the group of young adults that I was working with. And about 3 days later, they're like, Miss Jazz, you got some more of that African stuff, that natural stuff you gave me? And I'm like, shea butter? Yeah. And when you get a whole bunch of kids from East Oakland, like interested in rocking shea butter and natural essential oils and not, Victoria's Secret's love spell, then you got something good. You got something going on. And so that's really my hope, like to continue to be able to provide a product that not only is good for your skin, is going to have you looking good, but to shift your consciousness around what you put in and on your body. And I did a lot of research about shea butter and just skin ailments. It was not my intention to start a small business. Like I said in the video, my, at the time, boyfriend was gifted with 25 pounds of shea butter. And it sat in my living room for so long. And a couple of my friends who had skin ailments asked me to make something for their skin. And I started researching different products and people kept coming back to me wanting more. And I had already been gifting wellness and blends through teas, poems, cough syrups. My family is from Louisiana. My great-great-grandmother was a voodoo priestess in Louisiana. And ever since I was a little girl, like I always just had a knack for herbs and ethnobotany. So, they say it's a proverb to say your gift will make room for you. And so the more I started to walk in my gifts, it kind of just came to me. I'm a mother of two biological children. My oldest is 13, my youngest is 3, and my middle child is 11. And they really pushed me to learn more about the healthcare industry and alternatives to medicine, because from everything from vaccinations to Tylenol, those things were killing our body and our children. And both of my children had adverse reactions to chemicals and synthetics, and I had no other choice but to take an initiative in their life and their health, or watch them deteriorate at the hands of the medical system that wasn't really prioritizing them in the first place. So yeah, that's a bit about Goddess Butter Oakland. What else you want to know? You want to talk about my poetry, my art?
I want to know about you got these hip hop classes, you're doing all of this other designer stuff, like you got this woman empowering group. Let us know a little bit about that.
So I got one more 1 minute video. It's just 1 minute. Like I could show you so much through video, and I just want to be correct. So 2 years ago, there was an initiative through an organization called Thread Up. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I got some background noise. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Yeah. That's me with the background noise?
Yes. I don't see your share screen. You have to reshare the screen because I don't see it.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna share it. Share. All right, here we go. Can you see it now?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So this was an initiative called Badass Moms for International Women's Day. Featured several different women in their fashion and their artistry. And so they featured me, and this is me dressed in my style, my jazz style, and I'm sharing a poem to my children. There will come a day when this world, to my children, there will come a day when this world tries to make you forget who you are, question where you come from, and when they do, tell them you were birthed from the belly of queens, that you come from a long, long line of badass moms and ninjas in training. Women who mastered the art of stretching, sacrificing everything if needed, and still having a little left over to give. That your great-great-grandmother knew the power of service and prayer. That you are a prayer, wrapped in prayer, born a gift. And when this world tries to rob you of being the gift that you are, I promise you, I will protect you. I won't let them Oscar Grant you, Jordan Davis you, Trayvon Martin you, Ayanna Jones you. You see, us mothers, we have mastered the art of breaking, bending, and stretching, molding ourselves for something greater than us, something bigger than who we are. It is our responsibility to imagine change, transform dreams into reality. You see, you are the answer to the question. You are whoever you choose to be. So let it flow and create ever so fluently. Peace. My name is Jazz Monique Hudson, and I am a badass mom.
All right, badass mama out here.
Okay.
So I'm 32 years old. I had my first son at 18. I'm a former foster youth. I emancipated out of the foster care system when I was 16 years old. Between the ages of 12 to 16, I'd been to over 32 different group homes and foster homes in 23 different schools in the Bay Area in SoCal. I'm from Oakland, California, born and raised, but between that 12 to somewhere around 16 span, I bounced around a lot. And before emancipating out of the foster care system, I served on the Juvenile Justice Board, advocating for youth in the foster care system. And really, I got involved with poetry because when I was in group homes and foster homes and bouncing around, poetry was like the only thing I had to keep me sane and keep me grounded, and quite honestly save my life. I met a poet at the time when I was 15 years old. He was teaching writers workshops at the Malonga Center and introduced me to Youth Speaks. And I started competing in national poetry slams through Youth Speaks in San Francisco, and was able to go to the Grand Slam, the national stage, when I was probably 7 months pregnant. And at the time, it wasn't popular for young people to be pregnant and be in the media or be in the arts. They didn't have Teen Moms on the TV show. Brave New Voices hadn't hit HBO yet. And so everything I was doing was really living in my truth and vowing to not be boxed in as a statistic. From there, I ended up getting a profile in the Richmond Confidential called The Revolutionary Poet, and started doing work with the NAACP. And I'm one of the founding members of the Black Youth Project 100. And we were the first to release a statement when Jordan Davis was murdered. And that work has allowed me to partner with everyone from Susan Taylor to Michael Eric Dyson to Mos Def. And I created a program at Dewey High School about 5 years ago. It was a pen pal program where the girls and boys at Dewey could write letters to youth in the Philippines. And then I went to the Philippines and was teaching poetry and the arts in the Philippines. There's so much that I could like keep listening and talking about, but my arts in Oakland, the Bay Area, I've been doing that since before adulthood, and really just looking at models like Kasala, Ryan Nicole, collaborating with Uncle Bobby, and in the Oscar Grant Foundation and so many other people that have done this work. They really set the tone for, you know, who I am and why I do what I do, working with prolific organizations like Leadership Excellence, now known as Flourish Agenda. I've been working with them for the past 18 years. And also that's how I know Kasala, teaching radical healing and working at Camp Akili, which is a week-long transformative camp that focuses on sexism, identity, self-esteem, and cultural identity. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of the work that I continue to do. My workshops, they focus on sexism and hip hop. So really breaking down the music, the lyrics, the industry, how it affects us, how we see ourselves, advocating for queendom and kingdom, and really just working with African and American youth, Black and brown youth. My scarf then came off, so we're gonna be real funky right now. I'm gonna have to put this one up.
You're going real Oakland on us right now. You going real
Oakland on you. Yeah, I'm gonna put this one up. Scarf done fell off in the record. Gonna keep it going. Black girl magic. Now we got a scarf. Looking real Musalima. But yeah, that's just the work that I continue to do. And even with Goddess Butter, just pushing that message. My family and my background, my father was Muslim, and so I grew up in the Muslim community. I said my mother and my father, they were both bodybuilders. My dad was influential in the bodybuilding industry in West Oakland. He was Mr. California, Mr. USA, put on competitions at MAC, bringing Luke Ferrigno and Jack LaLanne to Oakland. So just coming from a real rich history all around. And I think one thing that stands true for me, that I was raised on, that whatever it is you decide to do in your life, that's your passion or your purpose, make sure that it's benefiting other people and not just yourself. So all my art and everything I do, I don't do it just for art's sake. I never thought that any of this would bring about clout. I did it because what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And I just want to be the change that I want to see in this community, in this world. And the first thing and the most revolutionary thing I know how to do is raise my children. So I can't be pouring into my children and be around all these other kids and not pouring them too. So like my friends joke because I'm only 32, but they've been calling me Mama Jazz since I was 17. So yeah, that's where we're at right now in COVID. I've really just been focusing on Goddess Butter Oakland and been working on my book. It's called Small Minds Say Small Things. And Defining Moments is pretty much a memoir of my life and the things that I've been through. And then there's also a workbook and teaching component to the Defining Moments. So yeah, that's me.
That's a lot of amazing stuff. Then a lot of amazing stuff that you said. Definitely, I seen Natasha over there shaking her head because I definitely heard her mention things about Louisiana, voodoo, and juvenile justice. A lot of the work that she was doing out there. I know she's gonna get to that later, but it just made me think of that. So I know, you women are definitely amazing, and you definitely are the nurturers of the earth and the cultivators of the land. So thank you so much for all the amazing stuff that you do, and all the amazing women in our communities do, because you ladies are really like amazing. Y'all great. Like, you know what I mean? I give y'all big ups all the time. Like, I ain't got no problem with that.
I just, when I think about what you guys are doing, like affecting community change by having these having this discourse, having intersectional conversations, once you start to focus on personal transformation, then you talk about systems changing. And that's what Mimi was talking about. She's talking about systems changing, right? And I'm focusing on the personal transformation. When you got personal transformation and system change, that's how you get community change. That's how you get active change in your community, and I really want to make sure that everything I do, that my intent aligns with my impact. We hear all the time from folks like, oh, it wasn't my intention to make you feel this way. It wasn't my intention to do that. But if the impact is something else, then that's what we need to focus on, right? And so I just want to be intentional about the impact that I have on people when I speak and when I open my mouth. The last thing that there's a mural on 14th and Poplar in West Oakland. It's Afrofuturism, so it's centering Afrofuturism. In there's a painting of myself, my 3-year-old, and my husband that we did for a Afrofuturism photo shoot. And I had no idea that our family was going to be the commission to be on this big wall. I actually seen it by fluke, doing a drop off of God is Better Oakland to Mandela Cooperative. Driving down 14th, and I see like a side vision of my face and almost hit the aisle because I was in like deep conversation, going through some things. 2020, everybody been going through some things, but I was talking out loud and I was like, God, show me what I need to do to cleanse my Ori. In Yoruba, Ori is translated to your head. And so there is a Yoruba spiritual system called Ifa, and in Ifa, they say before you do anything that your Ori must be right. And Ori is like your destiny, what you were sent on this earth to do. And if you're not clear about what your destiny is before you speak to your ancestors, before you practice whatever spiritual system or sense of grounding that you practice, you have to be clear about that. And so I was driving and I asked that question and I look over and I see the side of my face. My baby hadn't been painted yet. My husband hadn't been painted yet. It was just my head. And I pulled over and was just in tears. And I heard something say like, the ancestors, and if you believe in God, God is always speaking. Sometimes you got to quiet the noise in your own mind in order to hear it. And to me, that was like a direct, like, oh, you asked for it, here it is. And I think platforms like this, and I don't even know what Natasha does yet, but I just know that she on here and she dope. I could feel it. She got her grandma fan. Let's go. is proof that when you walk in your purpose, everything else will fall the way it needs to. And so I appreciate you all allowing me to be on this platform tonight, and for Kasala and other folks who invest in me and setting the way. We standing on each other's shoulders. So I'm really thankful to be here.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very blessed to have you on today. Very powerful sister. Just great for our young people to see so many amazing women doing so many amazing things. And I'm just glad that me and Rico are here to get behind you guys and continue to support what you're doing, because a lot of times we always get the negative feed from the community or from the ladies that say Black men don't support our sisters or we don't have y'all back. So we just want to show this extra extended love that we here, we support what you guys doing, we're promoting it, we want to highlight you, bring you to the community. Thank you for being one of our hidden gems tonight. Thank you for being patient and coming on as we get through these through this process. So just appreciate you. Need to keep doing what you're doing. Like I told Mimi Chef, if there's anything that me and Rico could do to support you, you already got some business from me. I'm gonna reach out to you and get some of that nice butter to help out my family's eczema issue. And maybe I can get some other things for Christmas. I might need
you could put it on your head,
right.
everything.
I might need
the aftershave, you gotta keep it on point. Right. You can find out more about my company, God is Better Oakland, at goddessbetteroakland.com. You can also find out more about the work that I'm doing in the community, and I share other people's initiative in the community on my Instagram. My Instagram and all social media handles is my first and last name, Jazz, Jazz, last name Hudson, like the river, Hudson, jazzhudson.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. That was beautiful, beautiful. Rico, we got to go to our last hit gem tonight. Last but not least, this sister rocked it. Her and her co-founder, they came on Sunday, our Sunday conversation, had an amazing conversation, educational. The amount of feedback that I got back from what took place on Sunday was profound. And I'm just glad it followed in this order, because definitely we want to highlight her and the work they doing. And we're going to get Kyra on here upcoming. Just a blessing. I mean, so many people, Rico, man. They was like, man, what's like, how do I connect? So I've been giving them how to reach out to them. We remember And I just want to say thank you before Rico bring you in, because he's gonna bring you in because he know all the amazing things that you have going on, and everybody else is about to be knowing everything that you have going on.
I don't
You
know
are no
all the amazing
longer
things. I
she,
know some
she
amazing.
know she know she's no longer a hidden gym now. Everybody know what's going on. So she got an educational Thursday presentation coming up for us on some tax law. I mean, she is utilizing all of that knowledge and that brain, and she is putting it to work. She is loving on the community. She is giving it back to the community. And people like her is people that I like to be around, because me and Rico, we always talk about there's a lot of people in our community that climb the corporate ladder, climb the educational ladder. And sometimes when they get to the top, they forget to reach their hand back and pull up other people. But when Natasha, man, she's definitely trying to re-educate the people, take the information she know and give back. So blessed to have you on. So Rico, go ahead and bring the sister in.
Off top. So first off, I want to say Tosh is amazing, right? So like off top, like so I known Tosh like since I guess high school. Um, always been somebody who was outgoing, outspoken, and always wanted to, that from what I seen or from what I was perceiving, that was want to educate or give back to people. When we end up running into each other later on in life, and around the Heritage Center up over in Fillmore. And that's when I got to know her a lot more and got to know that she's very, 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 very smart, and that she loves to educate folks. She's somewhat of a historian. She knows a lot of information. She knows so much information that sometimes I would get a headache off all the information that was being inputted in. Not saying that it was, it was too much, but it was just a lot. And, she knows a lot. And she tried to educate the community. I think the first time I actually seen you was Natasha was at the Black poetry readings. Black poetry reading. She was one of the hosts there. Under what's the guy name? Tango. Under
Tango.
Okay, under Tango, she was doing that. Then she lived in Louisiana. She know a lot about the voodoo stuff. She also was doing juvenile justice work. She was working with, I believe, is it the guy who did the lynching memorial?
We did partner with them on the juvenile life without parole litigation, Brian
Okay.
Stevenson's
I'm
organization.
trying to
Yeah.
bring everything back. And then they also have an amazing program called We Remember that I believe in, and I know that it's definitely going to be a program that's going to be one of them programs that our young people definitely need to be a part of, so that they can start making the transition in their life to understand that there were people who was here before them, who actually paved the way and who have actually died for us to have the little rights that we do have. Even though I think that some of them know it, but to visualize it, see it, be there, is something totally different as it translates into people lifestyles. Also, Tosh helped us with the Heritage Center. Big ups with that, all that drama. But definitely, I wish that, because I think that women, and I always say this, they are like, y'all different, a lot different. And, I think it was a lot of testosterone back then, and they weren't paying attention to the jewels that you was dropping. And, I'm just thankful that, we are still friends, and that, you continue to do the amazing work that you do. And, I'm always going to be here to support you in whatever that I possibly can, to continue to work. Thank you for all the work that you do in the community. Oh, Year Up. Thank you for all the work that you do with Year Up, in working with those young people and making sure that they're getting their work done. So thank you. And we definitely just wanted to highlight you as a hidden gem in our community. Continue the amazing work. Jay Hen, do you have anything before I turn it over?
Now, I want her to get started because she had a lot of information, and I want to know a little bit more about this voodoo, because I know Jazz is talking about the spirituality stuff, and I know sometimes in our community they think it's a negative thing, or I don't know, they think it's devilish. Or I don't know.
It's alignment.
I just need a little bit more education on this voodoo
It's
stuff.
alignment, and it goes back to our conversation on Sunday. when we were talking about all the mental health work and the stuff that we do and why isn't it working? And, you know, I kept interrupting your co-founder here, because it just irks me. Not what he was saying, but because it's what most people think. We think our stuff isn't working. And the truth is, a lot about what we do does work. It's just that what we're facing is so massive, it feels like nothing is working in light of it. And to highlight what could make it work better is that alignment piece. It's like none of our models here, or none of our dominant models for how we educate, how we heal, how we do anything, promote Black alignment with Black identity. And so I'm like, yes, if you're giving me a Eurocentric formula, of course that's not going to work for me as a Black person. And so for me, going on my spiritual journey, you know, that's what studying voodoo or obeah or Kemetic practices, it personally helped me align. It helped me realize it filled a lot of gaps that other things weren't filling. And so it's interesting to me how much we demonize the things that we actually really need. But that's a whole nother conversation. Did
I come off really negative on Sunday? Because I
no.
I was trying to make sure.
No, you didn't come off negative. It's just what came, and it's not just you. I think what it is like I said, it's not you. It's just the frustrating with the thinking, because it's like, you know, we for the saying, we throw the baby out with the bathwater. We think nothing that we do works. And so much of what we are doing is working, and it could work better if we advocated promoting alignment. So if all our practices, you know, weren't about a similar, first of all, you know, when we even look at promotive and protective factors, or what risk factors are, they're all about our ability as Black people to assimilate to this construct. That's the mistake from the beginning. You get what I'm saying? Like, we work different. We do things different. If you're looking for me to show up to a job, and, you know, I used to say this when I worked at Europe all the time, when I used to do the diversity and cultural competency, or, you know, diversity inclusion. People change these names every 5 years, and I just give up on keeping up with it, because I personally think it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because what it does, it creates this institutional, like, intellectual snobbery that, oh, you're saying the wrong word. It's like, you know what I mean. But you know, I used to say to people all the time, like, you getting on, you know, people for, you know, like, as a Black person working in this construct, you don't know why I'm late to work every once in a while. You know what I mean? You just have this thing that I'm supposed to show up at 8:00 every single day. You don't know that I might have a neighbor who's suffering some developmental stuff. And when he comes out and says, hi, guess who's going to be late to work today, so I can speak to him and edify this person's identity. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't know if I stopped by and used my skin privilege today to stop the police from harassing somebody on my way to work. You don't know what I did. And so that's when I say, like, these constructs don't even accommodate for our reality and how we live life. Like, you just want me to ignore my neighbor who might have some developmental challenges. You want me to ignore the fact that I see the dude being pulled over, and I don't know if he's going to be the next who God knows what. It's all these things you want me to ignore, and you just call it showing up to work on time. And so that's just an example of what I talk about when I'm saying that, you know, there's a lot of promotions I don't get because I choose to just say, I'm going to be late. Like, Tasha, probably going to be late once a week. Why? Because I just see too much that I can't ignore. And so it is what it is, you know? And that's what I mean by alignment. So much of being successful in this system requires us to not see what we see, or to be who we are. And then, you know, we get all this feedback about these programs and factors, and things aren't working for us because we're not complying. And it's like, you didn't have me in mind when you made up all these rules about how you were going to save me from myself. But that's a whole different conversation. But so anyway, I just had to put that out there in terms of I don't know, you said something that made me go on that rant. I go on rants. So about myself, yeah, I'm on a journey. I know I sound confused, but you know, I guess just a little bit about myself is I started doing, you know, this social justice, whatever you want to call it, work in high school with the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights. Back in the day, we had an organization called Third Eye Movement when we were on Fifth and Powell, and we were organizing, leading protests. And I was cutting class all the time to go teach Know Your Rights workshops. And, my teachers would be like, you could do better in class if you showed up. And I was like, or I could teach somebody their rights. You know what I mean? I'm willing to take a few C's if it means, I might potentially be planting some seeds. And so that's kind of who I was. And the reason why I was so committed to that is because I had a teacher in 10th grade who taught us about imperialism. And when I realized that there's a whole world out there that wants to make us feel bad for being poor and oppressed, like when I really realized that, all of a sudden I didn't feel no shame no more. I was like, yeah, I got these food stamps. Yeah, I'm broke. Yeah, I can't afford a pair of Nikes. And what? Like, it's not my fault. I didn't create imperialism. And so I found a lot of freedom in that truth. And I think since then I've always been seeking truth. And so from there, I went to college, majored in social work. Felt like as I was majoring in social work, I was helping people to cope with oppression and not transform systems. And so then I was like, maybe this law school thing will help me transform systems. So I went down to Louisiana 2006, a year after Katrina. It was all divine. That's one of the only schools I got accepted to. So I didn't have much of a choice but to be in New Orleans post Katrina. But it was an interesting time because it was all hands on deck. You learn how to rebuild the city, literally. And so when I was out there, I was doing juvenile justice reform work. It was dope. It aligned with the work that I had already been doing as a social worker and previously before that. And that's a whole nother conversation when we talk about just, New Orleans. You want to talk about a hidden gem. Everybody thinks they go down there, but they don't really get to the gems. They get to Bourbon Street, but it's a please. There's no words for describing what New Orleans is, especially to us as Black people. Yeah. And anyhow, I tell people I was born and raised in the Bay, but New Orleans is where I grew up because that's just what it was. And while I was in law school, I did how I get to tax, right? Is I took an estate planning class, loved it. I was like, what is this? And, I'm in law school and I'm studying all these business courses and all these property courses and stuff that, they require you to study. And I joke with people that, not really joke, it's my truth, but in high school, I was a conspiracy theorist. In college, I kind of calmed down. I went to law school and became a conspiracy theorist again. I was like, these people know exactly what they're doing. I'm reading opinions about it all day. And so while taking all these classes that I had to take, I took an estate planning class, which led me to discover tax. And I realized I really liked tax, but didn't have time to do anything with it because I was doing so much around what do you call it? Juvenile justice and the work around rebuilding the city and so forth. I moved back home, realized USF, started a LLM program in tax. It was my alchemist journey. I started studying tax and now I'm at a place where I have a solo tax practice. And so, when I first felt like, spirit called me to study tax, I was like, God, what am I going to do with tax? Like, I know that I find it interesting. It's like solving puzzles, to me, it was like respite care. Like nobody's going to jail for 40 years. Nobody's getting the death penalty. The worst that's happening is the IRS is coming after people. This feels like something I could do for a while. But I was like, but it feels really bougie and it feels very self-interested. And I don't even know like if these people are going to hire me because I don't fit the bill. Right. And, but I just did it anyway, because I believe in following spirit and studying tax. I realized how much tax affects everything and how disempowered, not just Black people, but everybody is because they don't understand tax. But specifically, a lot of us as Black people, we are starting to become we've always been entrepreneurial because we've had to be. Let me say, we're legitimately starting to be entrepreneurial, right? We're like starting to hear, and when I say legit, I mean assimilating to the system and doing it their way, right? But we're starting to have this, I want an LLC and, generational wealth. And we're starting to have all these conversations, which I'm not gonna lie, the socialist in me is kind of like, really guys, okay, but whatever, since that's where people are, I respect the journey. And so in that, what I've seen is a lot of people start their businesses and not understand the basics, like really not understand the tax component, the tax obligations. You know, a lot of people have that letter from the IRS stuck in their drawer and they've never addressed it. And they have dreams that they won't start because they're concerned that the IRS is going to take everything they have. And I've realized that most people don't know where to go when they have these questions. Like they don't have anybody, like, especially people in our community, like straight up, like y'all two, where would you go right now if you had a tax question?
Calling you.
But like before you knew me.
I have a good tax attorney, so I do know some.
Okay, so see, yeah, you good. But a lot of people I know, you know I didn't before. I would have probably just been like, I mean, true story. Like I used to just do my taxes online through H&R Block all the time. And once I started studying tax, I realized that there were deductions that I should have been getting that I wasn't taking. I amended my tax returns for the past 3 years and got money back because it was like, what? Like I didn't even have enough knowledge to critique whether, you know, these algorithms were accounting for everything that I earned. And I didn't have the language to have a conversation. So anyway, that's what I do with my tax business. And as you all shared, I was on the show on Sunday talking about We Remember, and We Remember is how I do a lot of my social justice work now. I was one of those people who was very much all over the place. Like as you heard, I was consulting with the Fillmore Heritage Center. I consult with Year Up. I used to be on staff at Year Up. I'm kind of all over the place. We Remember has been my way of getting a little bit more grounded, channeling my vision and figuring out like what's the impact that I want to have. You know, in spite of all this experience I've gathered. And for people who are listening who weren't around on Sunday, what We Remember is it is a nonprofit, and our goal is basically to be the Black history class that most people need, but they don't go to, right? Because it's like, unless you're in college or unless you're on some path where you're getting a Black history course, a lot of the information we get is anecdotal, it's piecemeal. And so what we've done is we're creating a curriculum, and it's based on travel. The idea is that we're going to take people from Africa to the Caribbean to the South and really trace that journey of what our experience has been, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, the things we need to heal from, the things that are outstanding, culture preservation, prison industrial complex. We hit it all. And in the meantime, because we realize that everybody's not going to be able to travel that journey, we also create localized curriculum. So we bring the things that we research and the things we're learning to a local level to share with people through our events. And next year, we're hoping to launch a virtual studies program. So that's a little bit about what I do. Should I pause for questions, or I can like take y'all to my websites? How should we pivot?
I got a couple of questions, but you
Okay.
could go ahead and promote your website too. Before you jumped off the tax thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know in America we're suffering from a deficit of debt. We are like in crazy debt, right? And we know that the top 1% or the top 30% of large corporations don't pay their fair share of taxes, right? What do you think about this flat tax conversation? Because I think if everybody paid a flat tax of about what we pay, 28% or more, I think our national debt, I think a lot of the issues that we have with corporations paying a fair share, if we made every entity, whether you employee, employer, LLC, no matter what you're doing, whatever income you gross, a flat tax of like 20 to I say 28%. I know it seems high, but like we could pay off our national debt and do a lot of amazing things. What do you think about that?
That's layered. I love it when people ask me questions that it's like, see, I would need to bust out the tax forms right now to exactly show you how this works. No, because I think what happens is you have these complex people like to really it's like a bell curve. Like things really aren't that deep, then they really are that deep, then they come back and your answer is not that deep at the end of the day. And I think that's the situation with tax. I think the issue around corporations isn't paying their taxes. Basically, I'm going to say no to a flat tax rate. I do think, because the thing is, you got to realize that people who are making less money do have a lower tax bracket, and you would essentially be raising taxes on poor people if you did that. Right. And I don't think that's how you solve the fact that corporations aren't paying their taxes. I think there's a lot of ways to do that. I think what you really have to do is understand, like, the Internal Revenue Code is like books this big, right? And a lot of them are full of deductions. And we have to start thinking, why are we giving people certain deductions? That's what it really boils down to, because the reason why people aren't going to be paying a whole lot of taxes is because they are accumulating a whole lot of deductions. And we have to go back and be like, are those deductions fair? And so when you talk about a lot of corporations, what's interesting is a lot of them aren't paying a lot of taxes because they're getting tax credits, right? And credits are dollar for dollar knock down your tax bill. So if you have $1 million tax bill, but you have $1 million credit, you end up having a $0 tax bill. But when you look at a lot of those credits, and let's really think about it, a lot of these credits are incentives for people to go into our communities, to hire us, to fund us, to, bring business to our communities. And so as a Black person, I'm always here like, well, why are you giving them a tax credit? Just give us the money so we can rebuild our communities, right? Like, and I know that really sounds simple, but essentially that's what's happening. And what I find even more offensive is that these companies get to roll out these initiatives like, we have this thing where we're bringing, business to this devastated community, but nobody's taking accountability for why that community is devastated in the first place. So it really kind of personifies that hero thing that people get to come into our community, and because they're doing great stuff for us, it's the charity versus equity thing, right? I think I heard somebody say that earlier. I don't know if it was here or on something else I was listening to, but and then it becomes this whole, now you're doing charity and you're saving our community and you end up not having to pay taxes because you're doing it. Well, really, there's a word for what this should be called: reparations. And you shouldn't get a tax break for somebody else giving us the reparations that are due. And so, or it's the fact that, you hiring a percentage of people of color, or having an initiative around diversity where you hire us. Yes, that's great. But if you're hiring us, but you're not promoting us, you're not equipping us, that brings a whole nother level of issues around economics and diversity and inclusion in the workplace and all that. So you have a lot of people who are hiring us, but we're getting into jobs, but there's no real opportunity for growth. Why? Because you hired me for a tax credit. And a lot of people would be like, okay, well, what's the difference between that and affirmative action, right? And I am a supporter of affirmative action. So some people might look at that as like a concept of affirmative action. Well, aren't you just happy you got a job? But I'm like, no, because as a person of color who's like educated and should be getting these jobs in the first place, I don't want to be stuck. And I think it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning, is this is why you see so many Black people becoming like legitimately entrepreneurial now, is because we're getting educated, we're matriculating through people's systems, we're doing everything that they told us to do. And then we go to these jobs and we stay at entry level positions because we don't want to fully assimilate. And I know that's why I quit. I know that's why I became an entrepreneur, because I was just like, I can't, like, I'm never going to climb up in any of these places I start out, because I won't assimilate that much. And I'm not saying that's a bad or good thing. It's just not, if I assimilated, I'd become a mental health case. And I know that about myself. How do I know that? Because I got an MSW and I studied psychopharmacology. I would become a mental health case. So I can't do it. And so anyway, back to your tax question, I think the issue is we got to look at, why are we giving people credit and deductions? We need to look at these corporations. We need to assess the deductions and the credits that they're taking that are leading them to not paying their fair share of taxes. And then we need to be like, is there a better way to address, some of these issues? I know that sounds really vague. And when I say issues, I mean, are we giving people credits that really should be AKA reparations? Are people getting deductions for things that you shouldn't be? Because I'll say this, like, from studying taxes, when I look at the code, I like it. I'm like, it works. It's cool. There's checks and balances in there. It once again goes back to the loopholes, quote unquote.
Right. So, I mean, I'm just saying, 28%, it seems high, not saying to make a tax cut on poor people, but when the majority of the working class people in America right now are paying about 25 to 28%, just average medium, right? So they're already paying 28%. So regardless if the corporations are getting tax breaks or tax credit, there's still a process of goods and receivables that need to be taxed, right? And that's where I'm saying that 28% should be applied.
No, and that's not what that's not how it works. What I'm saying is like when you look at your tax form, it's like looking at a holistic health. Like I compare, I don't know why I always compare tax to like healthcare, but I do. But it's like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't just look at somebody's injury to their brain, but not look at their heart. You know what I mean? Like you take a patient and you check in for heart issues, you check in for head issues, you check in for blood, you check in for all of that. Tax is very much the same. It's a moving thing. It's like you can't just look at the deductions or look at the credits or look at the tax rate. You have to look at how all these moving parts are intermingling to create a certain outcome.
I don't know if that's happening in our Western medicine. I mean, I go to the doctor now, they don't even check you. They just go, here's the prescription.
But ideally, but they supposed to, and we know they supposed to. You know, when you tell me you're giving me, you know, my checkup, my physical, I'm thinking you checking all kinds of stuff. Are you supposed to be? And you know, that becomes the real question is like, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing?
No, that's definitely deep. But assimilation is definitely one of the issues.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, I guess I know we're running way over time, but I think it makes sense to share my website just a little bit, just in case. I'm sure y'all have people out here who want to know who might need a tax consultant or something. So it's my website. My little motto is empowering people to tackle tax, confront conflict. That's my logo. So that's how you'll know you showed up to the right place. Um, and so the reason why I talk about empowering people to tackle tax and confront conflict is because I also do mediation in addition to tax. And so I provide both services. When it comes to my tax services, let's click on that and go to that. Pretty much most of what I do is I do tax coaching and I do tax seminars. So I'm big on the education piece. I'm really big on making sure that people understand the basics of tax. Because like I said at the beginning, you know, people understand this stuff piecemeal and they're getting piecemeal advice. They're not understanding holistically how one thing leads to the next. They don't know, you know, if they should be switching from itemized deductions to standard deductions. They don't know if they got a settlement this year and if it's going to impact their benefits and what deductions where they should be putting money to get deductions so that they can keep their benefits. It's all kinds of stuff. And so I have a 5-week tax class that I launched this year where I kind of run people through the basics of tax, the kind of stuff we really all should be getting in school, but we don't. That's what I do there. And then also additionally, people come to me just for like coaching around their business. They're like, hey, I'm starting a business. I'd like to get familiar with these forms. I'd like to know more about what I should be looking for when I start this business. I have a CPA that I work with or prepare, but a lot of times they talk at me, they don't talk with me. I want to be coached in how to have a more empowering conversation with my tax preparer. So that's the coaching and the tax seminars. Consultations a lot of times is when people just have a quick question, right? They're like, I'm getting this settlement, what do I do? I got this letter from the IRS, I don't know how to respond. I'm finally willing to confront my tax debt, would I qualify for offer and compromise? So I do 1-hour consultations where I kind of just help people even clarify their questions sometimes. Sometimes they don't know what their questions are, but they know they have them. So that's what the consultations are for. And then excuse me, I provide representation. So I provide representation before the IRS, tax court. And so if people are in a place where they're delinquent, they're deficient, do not ignore your letter, reach out to somebody. And the reason why I emphasize that is not just because I'm trying to get business, but because there's statute of limitations. A lot of times people will come to me after those statute of limitations have passed. And so I can no longer get them to tax court. I'm forced to just deal with the IRS directly. And that's a huge miss. Your ability to go to tax court is actually a really empowering thing. Tax court is not as intimidating as people think it sounds. And so I always encourage people to respond to your letters because you want to preserve your statute of limitations. Because it just gives you more opportunities to appeal and work out your debts. And so that's my business. I'm trying to think if there's anything on here. Mediation. what mediation is when people have conflicts. It's a way to settle your conflicts out of court. A lot of times people will just think, I have to go to court, I have to sue. A lot of courts, especially now with COVID, are actually promoting mediation. They're encouraging people to do that. And what that is you have somebody who acts as a neutral. That's me, the mediator. And I hear both sides of the story. I bring people to the table to help them draft their own settlement agreements. So that way they can have more autonomy over the outcome of their cases. And then once they have autonomy over that, we draft a settlement agreement, and it's binding against them contractually if that's what they desire to do. So that's about my legal practice. And I focus on what we call low bono clients, because there's a lot of resources out here that we know for people who are below certain poverty lines. So there's a lot of pro bono resources, or you just got to have hella money and be able to afford people. I target my practice to meet those people in between the gap who can't necessarily afford a $300 an hour lawyer, but who also will not qualify for pro bono services. Questions about my practice?
Yeah, you got to do client over here, and I got to connect you with some other people and some other tax preparers. So they was waiting for your presentation coming up. So I already told them that you got a presentation coming up, but definitely we have some local people that do tax preparator for business, and definitely.
Yeah, because I don't do tax preparation,
no,
so that's
no.
good. No, because I need to refer people. The more tax preparers I meet and I can fill out, the more I might be able to refer people to them as well.
Right. No, I'm just talking about as far as the support, like if someone gets an audit or something like that, or deal with some issues.
Yeah.
To have you as a connection is what I was trying to point out.
Oh no, I know that's what you were saying, but I was like, it goes both ways, because people always come to me like, do you do tax preparation? I'm like, I sure don't.
Rico, you look like you got something you want to say, Rico.
That girl knows she's amazing. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Did y'all want me to share a little bit about We Remember? I could pull up that website too.
Yeah, you could do a little bit for the people who missed the show on Sunday, even though we replan it, and I don't know what's up with my live right now, but yeah, definitely can you put it up?
Okay. Like, how do I move this thing so I can, oh, here it goes. Okay. So as we discussed, this is We Remember. This is our website. We Remember, our mission right here is that we're basically a nonprofit that provides education about the Middle Passage and the legacies of chattel slavery to eliminate bias, disparities, forced assimilation experienced by descendants of the Middle Passage. So like I said, that's really just a fancy way of being like, we're a Black history class that a lot of people may not have the opportunity to go to. And like I said, what differentiates us from places that teach things piecemeal is we have a curriculum that builds upon lesson on lesson on lesson. So the idea is that by the time you go through our curriculum, you'll be like, okay, I kind of see the comprehensive issues here. I see how we got here, as opposed right now, because I was saying, like, I think a lot of places you'll get a really good education about the prison industrial complex, but you'll know nothing about colorism. You'll know a whole bunch about, Black economics or the, lack thereof, but you won't know nothing about like Black health disparities or the experience of forced assimilation. And so we have comprised our curriculum to hit up on all these pieces. I have a short little video I could play that somebody put together for us. Should I? I don't know how we're doing on time. We're way over time.
Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. So this is a video from our All Saints Day event last year, and it talks a little bit about what We Remember does and just a little bit about who Cairo and I are. So. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Discuss different ancestors in our family. What does equality really mean in America, right? Like, what equality means some people aren't enslaved and others are, because we clearly still have very,
I don't know why it's stopping.
Spectrum when it comes to economics. My name is Natasha Ventsko, and I am the co-founder of We Remember. We Remember is a project that aims to inform people about the impact of the.
Let me pause it and see if that helps. Well, if it don't work, y'all can always just go to our website and check it out.
And enslavement. And so what we do is we create experiential learning opportunities so people can come to our spaces.
Okay, that's not working.
Yeah, we could refer them to the website.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
yeah.
something good for people to watch.
I think it's too much technology on technology.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so that's basically who we are, what we do.
Cool. Definitely we're gonna refer to people to go to We Remember, is that .org or .com?
.org.
Okay. We remember 2019.org.
Yep, right there. Cool.
Well, thank you again, Natasha, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Intentionally informing our people with the information that you have. And definitely we hope that some of our other community nonprofits, definitely with our mentoring program over here for the upcoming year, we got to definitely put something together for our young people. I know Rico is big on making sure that our history is taught for our young people, because to actually move forward, they have to know where they came from. And I think that's big.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you. Amazing conversation yesterday. The feedback that I got yesterday was like amazing. And they looking for some more conversations like that. And I think that's something that we definitely need to put together in the future, Rico. But with that being said, I'm gonna pass it to Rico. Thank you. And I appreciate you giving up your time to come today and doing what you did for us yesterday. That was beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much again for coming out. You do so much amazing stuff. You definitely a star in so many people's lives. You definitely bring so much joy to people. Continue all the good stuff that you're doing. Both sides of the conversation care about you. Rico care about you. And I know there's a host of other people who care about you. Keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully we can collaborate with some of our young folks. Finally, when COVID-19
right, hopefully
is behind us, we can go to the Lynching Memorial and go through the middle passage and have that experience, because I want to do it.
It's so dope. It's so dope. Yeah.
Yo.
I can't put it into words. Like, I can't wait till we pilot our first group of people. It's
right.
Such a powerful experience.
Right. And
don't forget about me. I want to go too.
Let's go.
You coming? It's gonna be dope. It's gonna definitely be dope. But thank you so much again for being a hidden gem. Just continue the amazing work that you do. Any support you need, definitely hit both sides of the conversation up.
Will do. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening. Hey. Well, folks, I know this was a long-winded hidden gem show, but as you can see, it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait because of the support that we have, the amazing sisters that's doing amazing things in our community. We just appreciate you guys. Continue to tune in, continue to support us. Again, continue to just keep your prayers, not for myself or our co-founder Rico, for Jada. She's going through her amazing journey in school. All of our both sides of the conversation family and people that's doing amazing things with us. This Thursday, we have another sister coming on to do some amazing stuff for the community, educational Thursday presentation on goal setting as we start getting closer to ending this year out with COVID, all the things going on, definitely getting our goals in order, preparing, starting up, getting ready to make changes for the new year is very important. And this sister's going to come on here and give us some goal setting tips and teach us some things that we need to know about organizing and doing the things that we need. And then this Sunday, amazing conversation this Sunday, Rico. I think this is very important. I've already had a lot of people reach out to me today. I'm glad we had a few brothers step up, but we need our brothers to step up. I think this conversation is a much needed conversation. It's going to be important. We are talking about the Black father, the Black dad experience. We're talking to our single fathers, our married fathers, our fathers that's co-parenting. Just to talk about the experiences that they've been through, good or bad, to have a conversation. And I know our group is a largely woman, but we definitely want to get as many of our brothers to come in with some of the different perspectives, different backgrounds. I reached out to some people who also lost their child, as the sister talked about earlier, losing her child, because sometimes we forget about the man when they lose their child and the things that they go through with child death. So I reached out to some people. I hope we could get those people on as well. But definitely, if any of you dads out there who want to share your experience, good or bad, right? It's not to say we're bashing, or we just want to have that conversation about the experience of being a dad raising our kids. And I think that's just the start of an amazing conversation. And I think this will be an interactive thing as we get going. I know some of the sisters had questions for the brothers. I know some part of it is going to go a little one way, but the main purpose of this is to actually educate the community. Some of our sisters have questions to really educate what's going on, the experiences that we face, some of the struggles and obstacles that we face as dads trying to raise kids in these times that we in, getting support from not only community, but from city, local officials and nonprofits and things of that nature. So I think it should be an amazing conversation. We have some amazing community people that's going to be there, some amazing dads. And, you know, just having Rico back with this conversation, I think is going to be very important too, because he does an amazing job, you know, raising his young children. And me and my stories and some of the stuff that I've been through. I think it's just going to be a good conversation. I can't wait to Sunday. I think this is going to be another impactful conversation. So this Sunday conversation is going to be definitely something you want to check out. I know it's football season, so I'm already commending you brothers now who committed. I know football is a big thing in our male dominated world. We love our sports, and I just already wanted to say thank you guys for committing to coming on and having this most important conversation, because at the end of the day, these conversations we need to have is very important. And we also need to take our experiences that we learned, some of the pitfalls and mistakes that we made, to help educate our young brothers, give some of these ladies in the community some advice and understanding, dealing and raising with our young men, so that we can continue to move the young generation forward with information as they start to build their families and things that they're doing. So this Sunday is going to be amazing. Hope to see you guys there. If you want to be a panelist and you're a dad out there and you want to share your experience of raising children, whether you're single, married, or co-parenting, reach out to us at both sides of the conversation at Gmail, and we definitely get you set up for this Sunday's conversation at 2:00. Rico, is anything you got to say, man? I want to say thank you, man. I'm happy to see you back. Beard looking good. You looking intact. You know, I know we've been dealing with a lot of challenging things in the community, you know, with the family and just the community stuff, man. Just want to still give you much props. You know, I still see you grinding through stuff, still getting to the community calls, speaking up for the community, representing the community, still showing support, doing stuff. And just want to say thank you. My prayers are still with you. You know, my brother. Love you. I'll continue to support you, man. Do anything I can to help you, support you and your endeavors, your family endeavors. That's what we do here, man. And it was just nice to see you back. I see you get your energies and your stuff back, and just appreciating having you back, man. It's a beautiful thing. So can't wait to Sunday's conversation.
Stella trying to get his groove back.
Yeah, I was kind of like we had the sister on there, Z Hype, you know, and I was so mad because I know you really into dance and stuff. And when she was talking about all the amazing dance stuff, I still got to send you her link, her information. But I was like, dang, I know Rico want to be on here to talk about that, you know, because I know you're very impacted by the dance life. So I think that would have been a cool one, but we'll get her back.
I'm definitely back. I'm happy to be back. This is part of the process. This is part of the growth and the development. I think definitely when we go through things, sometimes if we just push through it, the things that's around us that we already doing is our healing, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think that's something that a part of the learning curve that I just learned through this whole tragedy and crisis that has been happening is I'm not the type of person that needs to be off. I needs to be 100% on, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through, even if I need to cry it out on the show or whatever, just being organically me, that what helps me get through things. Me being in the shell, and I know a lot of people are like that, us being in our shell, it don't help us. All we doing is stuffing that stuff and making ourselves sicker. So, you know, but I'm lucky because I got a network of folks that support me. So I was happy that you hitting me, you supported me. You continue to push things. I knew I didn't have nothing to worry about. I'm like sitting back, eating my little Cheetos and watching the shows. Like, okay, he got it. I ain't tripping. So, you know, and it's good to have people like that you can definitely call your friend and you know that they got the best intent for you to be healthy and your family to be healthy, and all they want to see is your well-being, and you really come out of it with all of it intact. So, you know, I just
Right,
feel good, and
absolutely.
I'm pretty lucky to have someone like you and the individuals around me. Thank you all out there who send your support and send your love on all levels around my friend Chi. We're gonna miss him in the situation that I was going through with my family, personal issues. Thank you all just for reaching out. You know, everybody that reached out, thank you for your support.
See, there you go, people. Prayers do work. And, you know, we do lift spirits. And I'm just glad to see you back, brother. And just appreciate all the stuff that you've been doing. And thank you to Asia, Jada, Kosh, you know, the people behind the scenes here, both sides of the conversation, grinding it out, you know, taking the responsibility and running with it. And you know, that's what we do, man. We just make it happen. So just glad to have you back, bro. Love you, bro. And thank you guys for watching our hidden gem segment tonight. I can't say anymore, but this was like an amazing show tonight with our amazing sisters doing amazing things in our community. And we just want to thank you guys again for supporting us. We have some amazing conversations coming up. We have some more amazing hidden gems, some more educational presentations. I mean, we kicking this thing out into 2021. We got District Supervisor 6, Matt Haney, coming on in a couple of weeks. Like we're doing some great things, man, and just glad we're able to provide this information to the community. So we love all you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys Thursday, and then we'll be ready for our impactful conversation on Sunday for our Black Dad experience, our Black and Brown Dad experience. And I think this will be a very powerful and needed conversation. So see you guys to the next one. We love y'all. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.